So apparently, we found out what Adin Ross has been banned for. I wasn't sure about it before, but according to sources, apparently Adin Ross had on his Twitch stream, he was streaming Twitch, showing his own VOD from Kick, and if you read the chat from Kick, you can probably assume why he got banned if the chat was on the screen. You can pretty much assume that who the fuck streams on Kick? A lot of people are now. Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. Yeah, they draw swastikas. Well, I mean, of course, I think that drawing swastikas is probably only in the middle of the spectrum of bad things people do in Kick chat rooms. I mean, there's some crazy shit that these people spam in there. It's nuts. So yeah, I mean, he got banned for that. I think that the truth is, it's just as simple as this. Twitch was looking for a reason. I think it's actually that simple. They were looking for a reason. The guy was just, I mean, he's kind of going off the deep end, saying some kind of crazy stuff. They don't want him on the platform, promoting another platform. It's not really a big surprise. He gave him the reason. And to be fair, I do think that it is, if racism and not showing racist stuff is against the rules on Twitch, which it is, then I would argue that showing a completely unmoderated chat for 20 minutes, even if it's 5, is massive. And this isn't, again, like, and also, like, he knew what was in the chat. This is not extemporaneous. It's not like, oh, he's playing a video game and somebody says something racist and it pops up in the chat, and then the chat, you know, it goes by and it's over. Like, he knew what he was pulling up. So, yeah, I think that's generally what it was. They were looking for a reason. Oh, absolutely they were. I'm so glad Adin Ross is gone. He's so delusional. I am sad to see Adin Ross go down such a extreme path. I think he's an entertaining guy. I do. I unironically think Adin Ross is entertaining. But it's like crazy stuff like that with like the Nazi stuff and the Jew stuff, etc. It's just, that's too much. He got corrupted by Entertate. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's hard really for me to say. But yeah, it looks like he got banned for, you know, having his own stream on Kick up with a bunch of the chat up, and it was just uncensored and very bad. Can't understand. Most people think that we're different. I mean, that's whatever, right? Why are you afraid of saying that he's right-wing? Because I actually don't think that Adin Ross is right-wing. And I think the reason why I'm saying that is not because, like, he's saying things that are right-wing, but I genuinely do not even believe that he has the political competency. And again, it's not because he's stupid. Like, I'm not saying Adin Ross is stupid. He's not stupid. He's just completely uneducated in this, and he doesn't care. That's all. Like, I don't think this is a ideology for him. I think this is just something he's been hearing from people online, and he's just repeating it. So I don't think that he's fundamentally right-wing, because I don't think that he has enough of an actual grasp on what that even means. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think he's just ignorant to the entire thing. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm not, like, I don't think that, yeah, uneducated doesn't equal stupid. No, exactly. It's just not something that he really gives a shit about. I'll say it. I think he's the child left behind, and he's smart enough to know what he's doing. Well, I think he's you know, he does very well for himself. I mean, he obviously is going to be set for life. He's a multi-millionaire now, and it doesn't really matter what people say about him on Twitter. He got a massive payment from Kick, and that's about it. He's young and impressionable. Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of people like that. Who wants validation from that crowd for some reason? Yeah, I think so. He's been hard quadrupling down on two genders, like extremely hard in inflammatory ways. Yeah, I think that a lot of times whenever people are backed up against something and people are mad about it, they'll just keep saying it over and over and over. I think that makes sense. But really, it's just, like, and that's why I think that it's not really a right-wing thing. Because he's just effectively saying something that is controversial or that makes some people mad, but there's no real substance behind any of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no ideology that follows. It's a lot like, a good example of this is actually like Kanye, is whenever you watch the interviews with Kanye, there wasn't really an ideology behind why he didn't like Jewish people. He just didn't like them because he feels like the entertainment industry was full of them and they scammed him. That's it. And if you go back and you watch it, you'll hear like Nick Fuentes, as soon as, he starts talking about it, Nick will start trying to piggyback off of that and kind of fill in the gaps with like the ideology behind that. But the actual things that Kanye was saying were just like baseless. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people who, and this is just an unfortunate thing that happens. It happens with guys. There's like guys that, they date a couple of girls, or they date one girl and she completely breaks his heart. And she's a complete bitch. She cheats on him and she laughs on him whenever he's crying about it. And then next thing you know, he fucking hates women, can't trust these hoes and all this stuff. Like, this happens a lot. And guys have this happen. And I think also, they turn into incels. And there's also femcels. There's women that have this happen too. And they have some boyfriend who, they're dating him and then they get pregnant and then the guy leaves and he's not paying child support. And guess what? They hate men. That happens all the time. Or maybe their dad's an asshole. Like, their dad's an asshole and they're like, well, fuck men. I hate men. My dad's an asshole and I don't like men. And this happens. And it's the same thing as I think racial tensions too. A lot of people who are racist, I think either they learned it from like their parents or something like that, or they had a bad interaction with a person from that race. Does that make sense? So yeah, I think that's how it happens. Is like, some person has like like they're in high school or, like college, and they have a bad interaction with a person from that race, whatever it is. And then after that, they just extrapolate that to anybody from that group is now a bad person. Yeah, people look for patterns. It's human nature in an unfortunate way. So yeah, then isn't racism, it's personal conflict? Well, I think that it's easier to solve that problem. Right? Like, it's a lot harder to solve the problem of a person who's racist ideologically. But it's a lot easier to solve the problem of a person who's racist or hates the other gender or something like that, right? It's a lot easier to solve that problem because it's a surface level problem. Does that make sense? Yeah, remove from race, please. Well, these two things are related, and that's why we're talking about it. Just evidence of bad stuff, and everyone says it's bad to even talk about it. I mean, I think that's more like, again, like, for example, okay, so if a woman went out and she said that men are rapists, everybody would be unhappy about this, right? Everybody would be unhappy. People would be like, what the fuck is she saying? That's disgusting. She should never say that. However, guess what statistics show? Guess where violent crime goes? Men massively outnumber women in violent crime. But to take a statistic and to distill it down to an individual and to say, you are not a person anymore, you are a statistic, and your own thoughts and your feelings and your life experience are irrelevant to me. I don't care about them. The only thing I care about is that you fit in this box, and because of that, you're bad. Nobody wants this. And I think time and time again, this ideology comes up every once in a while, and it can be popular temporarily, and then eventually people shit on it. Because nobody wants it, and it's just stupid. And it's fundamentally dehumanizing. Whenever you take a person and then you say you're not a person and you're a statistic, it's fundamentally dehumanizing. I don't support it. So I think that a lot of times whenever people try to use these like weird justifications for why being racist is okay, The moment that you use that justification against them, somehow there's a double standard. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to care about statistics, then care about them all the time, not whenever they're convenient for you. Did you see his half-brother's tweets? Yeah, I did. I don't want to talk about it, though. You think it's a huge brand risk for Twitch, and that's why they banned him? I think that they were looking for a reason to ban Adin, and they found it. It's just that simple. You know, people think racism is exclusive right-wing people. Like, I don't want to... I don't know why. There's a lot of people that are, like, super mind-broken. And whenever I talk about, like, any sort of race issue or anything like that, every single time that I do, there are people that write out multiple sentences in one message explaining how there's actually racism against white people and how that's bad. You don't need to convince me of that. Stop telling me that. Just please stop it. We're not talking about that. Nobody's disagreeing with you. Just fucking stop it. That's not what the message said. Well, I don't care what the message said. It's gone.